Hello cuties! So welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. Today I am going to be making Italian wedding soup and I'm really excited. I found this recipe in a Rachel Ray book many years ago, and you can see how well used it is. And I'll show you the cover of the book. So it's very old. But my entire family loves this recipe, and you can see I made some other little changes to it. So it's a well-loved recipe. So I'm just gonna kind of walk you through what I have here. So here are my veggies I'm gonna use. And I really just cut them rustic, no special fancy cuts. Just chopped up 1 onion, 2 stalks of celery, and 2 huge carrots. If you have small carrots, you should probably use 3. And over here, as you can see, I have 2 boxes of chicken stock, which would be 8 cups. I have some ditalini pasta. I have pecorino romano cheese, some grated garlic, 1 egg, and this is meatloaf mix. Now, sometimes the store will have it with each type of meat separated, but this time they put it all together, which is fine. It's well combined. Here's just some Italian breadcrumbs. Today I'm just using the frozen chopped spinach. It's fine to use that. The recipe does call for fresh spinach. So if you'd like to use that, feel free, but this is nice and easy. I keep it in my freezer whenever I need it, and it's all ready to go. Okay, so here's the meat mixture. As you can see, I have the meat in there, the 1 egg, the garlic, salt and pepper, that cheese. I just added the rest of the container that I had. It was probably a little more than half a cup of dried breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna show you how I grate the nutmeg. Okay, so what I put in the pan was about a tablespoon of olive oil. I have my carrot, celery, onion, and I forgot to mention I'm adding 2 bay leaves. Now let me just tell you something. The soup won't taste the same if you don't use the bay leaves. They just have a distinct flavor that is so delicious in the background of the soup, and it just tastes so good. So I hope you don't skip that. These happen to be really big bay leaves. I probably could have used 1, but I do like the flavor, so I'm going to use 2. And of course, at the end, before I add my spinach, I'm going to take those bay leaves out, of course, because you can't eat them. So stay tuned, and I'm going to mix up the meatballs. I just wanted to say another thing about the veggies. So you're going to let these cook until they soften, but you don't really want any color on them. You don't want them caramelized. They're just the base of the soup, so you don't want too much color. So I actually have the heat on medium-low, and I'm just going to let those go until they soften. And then we'll add the chicken stock, water, and I think that's it for now. So stay tuned to see the meatballs. And the moment you've been waiting for. Here are the meatballs. This is definitely the most tedious part of this soup, but you want them fairly small. I don't know if you can tell how small they are. Here's my giant hand. If you have small children, this would be a great project for them to do, to kind of help out with the soup and roll them really tiny. And also, these are more like meatball dumplings. They're gonna cook right in the chicken broth. They don't get fried up first, so it's so easy once you get them all rolled. So I'm gonna add the chicken stock to the soup. The veggies are soft, and we'll go from there. Stay tuned. So I added the 8 cups of chicken stock, that's 2 cartons full, and I added 2 cups of water. And you want the water in there because there's a lot of things that have to cook in this broth, both the pound of meatballs and the pasta. So you do want quite a full pot. So there it is, just with the chicken stock. You can't see the veggies, but they're in there. And I turned the heat up to medium. So we'll get that simmering, and then we'll go on to the next step. While I'm waiting for the soup to boil, I just wanted to show you that my spinach, the chopped frozen spinach, was thawed, and then I just drained it really well. So here's a giant mound of spinach, but this goes in at the end of the soup just to warm up. You don't have to cook it, of course. So there it is already. And the next step is going to be to add the meatballs. So once the soup starts boiling, I'll show you how I add the meatballs. As you can see, my soup's a rolling boil right now. And there's all the veggies swimming around with the bay leaf. So I am going to add the meatballs. And what you really have to do is kind of add them one at a time so they don't stick together or stick to the bottom of the pan. So as soon as I get all the meatballs in, I give it a good stir, and then right away I add my pasta. And of course that's the ditalini pasta. And I'll add a little bit of salt just for the pasta to give that flavor. So when you come back, the pasta's going to be in, the meatballs will be cooked, and I'm going to add the spinach at the very end. Here's the soup all finished. I'm just letting the spinach kind of heat up a little bit. So all I did was I added the pasta and the meatballs were in there, and they cooked for about 10 minutes. And just make sure you stir the bottom so the pasta doesn't stick. And then I took out the bay leaf once the pasta was done. And then I added the spinach and just stirred it in. And I'm gonna plate it up. Stay tuned to see the finished product. Here's the soup all plated up and piping hot. So this is about a 2-cup serving. It's kind of high in points, it's 11 points. If you wanted to have it for lunch, let's say, and you can do a cup, that would be 5 points on blue. So I really hope you give this soup recipe a try. It is just the best. It's so over the top, better than chicken noodle soup. It's got everything in there. And if you're under the weather, it'll make you feel a lot better. So again, I hope you give this a try. I'm going to try to link the recipe in the description. If I can't, I will write it out for you. So I really hope you give it a try. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up if you really liked it. And also follow me on Instagram at Cindy's_success. Have a great night.